At the heart of all three of those programs is the same thing, and that's just making sure that our participants are socially well, emotionally and mentally well, physically well, and hopefully someday financially well, so that they go into adulthood ready to make decisions for themselves and their families that are meaningful for them and achieve goals that they set.
Recorded at Amplified Studio in downtown Des Moines, Give and Grow is more than a podcast. It's a commitment to our community. Founded by Andy and Sarah Suzanen alongside the RIA Group, this initiative is dedicated to uplifting the organizations and individuals who work every day to make Central Iowa a better place for all. Welcome to the Give and Grow podcast, where we share the stories of the nonprofits transforming lives in our community. Each organization is featured in 3 episodes, offering a deeper, more personal look at their impact. Through conversations with passionate staff, generous donors, and the very people whose lives have been changed by their work, our hope is simple: to connect, inspire, and strengthen the bonds that make our community thrive.
Welcome to the Give and Grow podcast. I'm your host, Siobhan Spain. This is our first of 3 episodes featuring the nonprofit Young Women's Resource Center, or YWRC. Young Women's Resource Center empowers girls and young women ages 10 to 24 to be strong, self-confident, and resilient. Their vision is for youth of our community to grow to their full potential and realize the life of possibilities they deserve. Young Women's Resource Center Executive Director is Rachel Woodhouse. Rachel's background in philanthropy and nonprofits is extensive. Early in her career, she worked at Des Moines Performing Arts and Bravo. More recently, Rachel was program manager at Principal Foundation and supported the company's community relations. Over the years, she has served on boards and committees at the Des Moines Social Club, Greater Outdoors Foundation, and Des Moines Art Center. Currently, she is a member of the Varsity Cinema Board of Directors. Mm-hmm. I'm happy to have Rachel Woodhouse here with me today. Welcome.
Thank you.
So in November 2024, you were appointed Young Women's Resource Center's Executive Director. Mm-hmm. I love that you have a history with the center. In 2012, you joined their newly formed Young Professionals Board. Mm-hmm. How did this experience impact you, and what are your thoughts on young professional nonprofit engagement today? So like, for instance, is the YP board still active?
Yeah. So first, yes, our YP board, which now goes by the name YWRC Ambassadors, is still very much active and playing a role in awareness, in fundraising, event support, and really integral in a lot of those things. So besides the fact that we're grateful for all they do now, I'm also grateful for the fact that we set it up in a way that we could perpetuate and be successful for over a decade with that YP board.
Yeah, I'm sure it has evolved.
It has evolved a great deal. And I think that's true at a time when a lot of other organizations have seen a very noticeable shift in their YP engagement. So I'm glad we're still able to maintain that. Yeah. And it's something that I hope continues to be successful for us and was a really important time in my life.
Yeah, tell us a little bit more about that.
Yeah. So in 2012, like you said, I joined the YP board, which had just been founded then. But in the intervening years, I have been on the fund development committee for the YWRC. I've been a celebrity server. I've done childcare. I've done fundraising parties. I've prepared meals. The mission of the organization is really what drew me to it. And then I think the mission plus seeing the participants, the impact in the community that it takes to achieve all of it is what kept me there. And when I moved into the permanent role, it was very much sort of an organic homecoming, if you will, because it's been such a second home for me for over a decade.
That is so impressive, inspiring. Thank you for being so active in our community.
Absolutely.
Yeah, fantastic. It's definitely a great example of the people doing amazing work in their free time and their volunteer time. So I saw it mentioned that the Young Women's Resource Center has been known to fly under the radar. Mm-hmm. For listeners who don't know about your nonprofit, can you share an overview and what the programming at that center provides?
Yep. So what I always share with folks who are new to us is that we are a nearly 50-year-old nonprofit that serves girls and young women ages 10 to 24 through 3 free programs. Those include programs for young moms all the way from childbirth education and doula care to postnatal support, infant feeding, parenting life skills. We also have what's currently called our empowerment program. That's for students in 5th through 12th grade who have the opportunity to participate both in school at their home school and after school at our site, where they essentially are developing all of the sort of core skill sets they're going to need for future success. So they are learning how to have healthy relationships, set boundaries, how to have effective communication with one another, teamwork, collaboration skills that will help them as they move into a career phase or a higher education phase. So there's also career exploration. We do college tours. We have great partnerships that allow us to do some really cool robotics and STEM programming. Wow. We have partnerships that introduce girls to entrepreneurship. And then we also have a really great relationship with ISU Extension and Outreach, where girls learn nutrition, cooking, and just a lot of things that take them into being self-sufficient in the future. And then the last pillar of our programming is counseling. So we have a full-time art therapist and a part-time, more traditional talk-based counselor. And those things are to help girls, whether they're participants or not, have access to those resources where they are often not available, or there's maybe a really long wait list, maybe at a time of crisis, or they have a specific problem they're working through. Right. At the heart of all 3 of those programs is the same thing, and that's just making sure that our participants are socially well, emotionally and mentally well, physically well, and hopefully someday financially well, so that they go into adulthood ready to make decisions for themselves and their families that are meaningful for them and achieve goals that they set. We do support all of those programs with a number of free services, and those services are intended to eliminate our participants' barriers to engaging with us, as well as to meet some of their essential needs. So we provide transportation within a certain radius to our programming. We provide childcare for all of our young moms during their programming. Everyone gets a snack or a meal. We have resource closets, including hygiene, food, baby supplies, etc. So a pretty all-encompassing effort to support our young people. Wow. Yeah.
That is a lot.
It is a lot.
How do people find you? How are they able to access? Like, how do they come across? Like, do you have relationships with specific schools? Yeah. Or are you in all schools? Tell us a little bit about that, how people find you.
Yeah, good questions. Historically, we've had a relationship with Des Moines Public Schools, which is something that last year we tried to pilot a more direct pipeline and work with their Southside Feeder program.
Okay.
Because of some challenges they're experiencing with sort of their community school coordinator roles, in some turnover and a few other things around just sort of the realities that students are facing these days.
Yes.
That pilot wasn't as successful for us as we would have liked. So we're going back to the model of being available to any DMPS school and to be available to them both through our programming, but also as a source for them to refer students to.
Right. So the counselors and the principals.
Exactly. Okay. They all, there's a virtual backpack the district lets community partners support and promote our events and programs through. We have a dedicated staff who maintain regular contacts and know who to reach out to. And then we also, collaborate really closely with a number of other nonprofits. And so they'll refer us to, refer participants to us if they know, like, hey, this person might need a specific service that we don't offer, but you all do. So one example is Every Step. We're a part of their coordinated intake process. Okay. So every week our team is with them looking at who's come through on their end that really needs to come to us for programs or services.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's a number of referrals through a lot of different mechanisms, but typically community-based organizations, schools, and then sometimes maybe in like the mental health or medical care space.
Yeah. I loved reading how you said how important it is for young people to have adults outside the family that they can trust and go to. I've read that over and over again, how important that is. And it seems like, the Young Women's Resource Center does that so well. And, for them not to feel alone through all the processes that go into being a young woman, there's a lot to handle. And I'm so glad that they have a resource in you for that.
And our great staff is, every time you walk by a program space and you hear them interacting, you just can't help but think like, wow, they are in the right place doing the right work.
Aww.
Yeah. They make a really big difference for those kids.
Yeah. And it's free.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
So next I wanted to talk about Young Women's Resource Center's big news.
Yeah.
At this year's gala, you announced that the center is helping revive the shuttered Planned Parenthood Book Sale, which was what could be called an institution for many families for over 60 years. What can you tell me about the feasibility study that led up to this announcement?
So when the former iteration of the book sale disbanded, they had a body of core volunteers that wanted to continue to impact community. They organized as their own 501c3, and we began having more earnest conversations with them probably last May or so. And what we instinctually believed is that we could be very successful in working with them, but we, of course, wanted to be able to prove it with data. So we were very lucky to get a strategic alignment grant from the Community Foundation of Greater Des Moines. That allowed us to retain a consulting firm that walked us through a pretty exhaustive process to basically do a very deep level of due diligence on every facet of our respective nonprofits. We also retained an attorney to make sure we had a solid agreement in place. And then we also retained an auditing firm just to check the financials and make sure that what we thought we would expect is kind of what would bear out. And so through that process, we were basically able to test and prove that all of our assumptions had been right and that it was the right call to move forward.
What were a couple hurdles that you were most worried about?
I think the hurdles that were the most potentially concerning were that the volunteers who had started Iowa's biggest book sale were really starting from ground zero. They had all of this decades worth of institutional knowledge, but they didn't have some of the resources, like the tangible resources or some of the lists they had previously had. But I will tell you, there are fewer committees of volunteers I have seen in action as hard as this crew. They have materialized operations in like a year. They are getting all of their resources and tools that they need to have a successful sale. So that's been great to watch them just spring back into action. And then the other, I'm not going to say hurdle, the other note that I always kind of earmark for myself, our first sale back, which is November 6th through 9th, is going to be at the Elwell Family Building, the State Fairgrounds. Historically, the sale had actually been at the 4-H building at the fairgrounds. The Elwell building's about a 10th of the size.
Wow.
So it's going to be a smaller footprint and it's going to be a few shorter days. But I think the community is so hungry for it to come back.
Yeah, absolutely. So I was wondering about that because I heard it's going to be smaller this year, but in the future, it will move to a larger space.
Yes, we've actually already got both of our 2026 sales on hold for the 4-H building. So it'll be back to what people expect.
And you're doing it twice a year?
Twice a year, just like it used to be.
Yep. And then they found warehouse space.
They did.
Because I think that was part of a challenge, that the warehouse space to house all these books that are donated by the community. And so they take donations throughout the year?
Most weekends right now.
Okay.
They post their hours on the website or social media, but most weekends right now they have volunteers there accepting donations.
Great.
They also at some point will have a 24-hour drop box. It's ready to go, and we've actually been able to take it to a couple of businesses to do book collections that
smart.
Employees donate. We just don't have it out for general public right now because we need to manage the inventory.
Yeah. Okay, that's exciting.
Yep, so over on Bell Avenue, hours are online.
Our house is sometimes overcome with books.
Yeah, same.
And it is nice to know that there'll be a great place to donate them.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Excellent. So if somebody wants to volunteer or get involved and learn more about the book sale, where do we point them?
So for folks interested in volunteering for the book sale or who want more information about when they can go purchase books or when and where to donate books, they can go to our website, ywrc.org/book sale. And then we also have an Instagram handle at YWRC Book Sale. Our Facebook handle is at Young Women DSM.
Okay.
So information is available at all of those places.
Fantastic. I think a lot of people will be interested in that information. Yeah. So as with other nonprofits, YWRC understands that diverse funding streams help safeguard its future. You don't rely too heavily on federal or corporate funding, but the fundraising landscape is definitely in flux. Yeah. Can you give us an example of how YWRC is impacted by this?
Yes, absolutely. We do have some some federal funding, but we do also have some funding from the county through Polk County Early Childhood Iowa. And we know already that while we are going to have funds for the current fiscal year we're in, they're no longer going to be available after this fiscal year for us because of some legislation changing where the sort of districts that administer this funding, where they're drawn and based.
Yep. Yes, I know that's going through a big change.
Big changes. So that, for example, will change our accessibility in terms of those funds. And then I think there's just a lot more uncertainty. For example, we budgeted this year, a decrease from our main federal grant because we didn't know what to expect, and the administrators we work with didn't know what to expect.
Of course.
Yeah. So we're fortunate that we learned that it's still going to be available to us this year.
Good.
But it continues to be the question mark around what happens after that, and that's something that not really anyone can answer quite yet.
So is that partly, do you think the book sale will help offset some of that uncertainty?
I think it'll help level out some of that uncertainty. I think at the time that we started conversations, we hope that it would be a transformative infusion of revenue.
Got it.
And especially to, like you said, diversify. What we are anticipating now, at least in the first couple of years, is that rather than being additive, it might be more supplemental to some of those sources of funding that are in flux. But we're hoping the way that it's still transformative is that we can leverage the support the community has sentimentally, even for the book sale and for young women, to say, oh, I know more about YWRC now. I know more about why their mission is important more now than ever. Yeah. And I want to be able to support them. So
you won't be flying under the radar anymore.
We hope not.
Yeah.
Because we got a lot of important work to do for a lot of great people, and we need the community to help us get it done. So on that fact, what do you see as the future of YWRC? What's on your top of mind? What isn't on my top of mind? So we actually do have a couple, primarily one for certain sort of higher level initiative happening. Coming up that we hope to announce either by the end of the fiscal year, which ends June 30th, or shortly after the start of the new fiscal year. And it's going to be a change for us that allows our impact to be more significant. And hopefully help us grow who we can collaborate with and grow our presence. We're also thinking about getting input that we need to understand the world is a different place even since COVID.
Absolutely.
The mental health of our young people has been very negatively affected by that, especially young women. So we're also thinking about how do we get the pulse of the realities, the current realities for our young people, make sure that our programming, while sustainable, also remains responsive to those realities.
Yes, isn't that so important to be able to be responsive?
Yes, if it doesn't speak to someone, they're not going to make sure that they're there to participate and get that benefit. So we want to make sure that they feel like this sees me and I belong here and these are my people. And then we're also just thinking about what every nonprofit thinks about: financial sustainability, our space. We are very fortunate that at some point we're going to outgrow our current footprint.
Right.
And so just figuring out what our future looks like to address that are some of the things that we're thinking about.
Where are you located right now?
So right now we're at 818 Fifth Avenue. We are just west of sort of like Iowa Event Center, the old Vets Auditorium.
Oh, yeah.
So.
And is there off-street parking?
We have our own parking lot, and there is an entrance/exit to that parking lot on both 5th and 6th.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So right downtown.
Yeah, very easy.
Okay.
Just off the freeway.
Can you share a story about someone impacted by YWRC that makes you smile?
There are a lot of stories out of the YWRC that make me smile, but I want to talk about one of the people I first encountered when I started volunteering. One, because of course I had my own personal connection with her, given how I volunteered alongside her as she was a staff member then, but also because she and her family are really proxies for the stories we see every day.
Okay.
Where we have people sticking with us through, every year of empowerment programming. And then their sisters are coming, and then they become moms and they join our young moms group, and then their kids go through empowerment. So when I had first started volunteering at the YWRC, there was a woman who I'll call Sam, who had become a mother, I think before her 18th birthday, and started going to the YWRC's Young Moms program. And because of the support she received there, she was able to basically complete the education she needed to be a surgery tech.
Oh, wow.
Yes, and work full time and yes, and like buy her own home and take care of her daughter as a single parent.
Wow.
And all of those things. And then her daughter, because she had been an infant when she started coming and was very known, then started coming with her mom when her mom worked part-time at the YWRC to schedule our childcare. And so like our childcare room is named after the daughter.
Nice.
And it was just being able to see not only the mom's trajectory from, sort of adolescence into adulthood, but also to see that her daughter was able to get out of high school successfully, like the way that she wanted to, the way that she had envisioned for herself and that her mom had envisioned for her, so she could go on to live her life the way she planned and have the support she needed from her mom, who had the support from us. So
yeah, I think the biggest gift we can give our daughters is that
yes,
self-sufficiency in life.
And modeling that.
It just gives them so many more possibilities.
Yes.
And that continuum really speaks to the impact and the ongoing support, family-like support that the YWRC provides. That's so
I think
fantastic.
That's just it, seeing that there is community, that it takes community to support us through different parts of our lives.
Oh, good. Yeah. Good. So what does YWRC need right now, and how can our listeners help?
So the YWRC, I never want to say needs, because we try to really design our own future and create the tools we need to get there.
Great.
But the things that would benefit us greatly, of course, are awareness to help us get out from under the radar. One, so we can reach more girls and young women, and two, so we can reach more supporters, whether that is I'm going to share every social media post, or I'm going to start making a meal once a month, or I'm going to start volunteering in the childcare room, or I'm going to start, supporting by being like a $20 sustaining donor every month. Those sort of key things are really critical to our success and have been a key to our longevity. And I think are also the bedrock of what we just talked about with the YWRC as a community. Those types of people feed into our actual community at the YWRC. And then, of course, we would love to see everyone at the book sale in November.
Yeah. Absolutely. That'll be great. And your gala, going to your gala is so exciting. Yeah. It's fantastic to see the community turn out. So many good people show up to hear about your successes, your hopes for the future. And when does that gala usually happen?
So we've moved it for 2026. It'll be the last Saturday in March of 2026 to kind of capstone Women's History Month.
Okay.
And
Great.
we are expecting to have another really fun, like just celebration again of community and the people who support us and all that we do. And we hope we have a couple fun surprises here and there, woven in.
Yeah, as usual.
Yeah. Got to keep people guessing.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you.
I think our listeners will be really excited to learn so much about what you're doing and what the future holds. To find out more about Young Women's Resource Center, you can visit them at YWRC.org. And to our listeners, thanks for being here. As always, tune in to Give and Grow DSM podcast on your favorite streaming platforms and at visiting giveandgrowdsm.org.